everyone. Welcome to Gardening for Better Health. This is Henry B. 723, and I'm glad you took time to stop by my channel to see what is happening here at Gardening for Better Health. I'm doing very well. I hope you all are doing well too. Well, this is the time of year that gardens are winding down. The temperature has changed. Fall is set in. Here we've had a couple of nights where temperature got below freezing. So we've been winding things down outdoors. And I know that people who live in the southern climate, your temperatures have changed too. Not as drastically as mine, but you've had a temperature change as well, and you may be winding down your garden too. So this is the perfect time to reflect on what went well with your garden this year. What were your successes? What things did not go so well? Why didn't it go so well? And what can you do next year so that things will go much better in your garden? So that's where I am right now. I'm reevaluating the whole year to see what happened in my garden and what do I need to do to make it better. I use a garden planner, and my garden planner is basically a regular appointment book. You know, we make appointments to do everything. We make appointments for doctors, we make appointments to get our nails done, to get our hair done, to get a haircut. So a lot of times we have to schedule those things in order to make sure that because we're busy, we actually get time to get those things done. That's what I do with my garden planner. I schedule time for me to work in the garden because there's so many different things going on around my home. I have to make sure that I block off some time to go outside and do what I need to do out there. So that's what happens with my garden journal. And it's a good reminder as to what happened. There was a lot that went on this year. To give you an example, I'll go back to my garden journal. I'm looking at the week of, well, let's say March 21st. In my journal, okay? That particular day, I noted that 2 kale plants germinated. I was germinating kale at that particular time. That was on the 21st. I also had crookneck squash that germinated that day. I planted 3 types of lettuce that day, and also 3 different types of tomatoes. So that's what happened that particular day. And then I also, on the 22nd, I checked my eggplant. I had many eggplant that were planted, but they're not coming up yet. Crookneck squash, some more germinated. And then on the Saturday the 25th, 3 types of lettuce. Had a little bit of mold in the soil. I had to take care of that because it was too moist. And I also planted some Butterhead Bibb lettuce, Grand Rapids lettuce, Merlot lettuce, and some backups. So these are the kinds of things that I log in my journal. And that lets me know that when I planted this, I started putting in the journal exactly when I planted it, and I logged the progress of each thing so that I would know when it's time to harvest different things. On the packages, when you're planting things, most of the packages have information on if you plant this on this day, then you have so many days before it actually reaches maturity and then you can harvest. One of the things I do is, say for instance, I have some peas that I planted this year. They were Sugar Daddy peas, and I got those from Baker Creek. And on the back of Baker Creek's package, it says this particular item sprouts in 10 to 30 days. Ideal temperature, 45 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Seed depth, 1 inch. Plant spacing, 4 inches. Is it frost hardy? Yes. Minimum to full sun, 6 to 12 hours. And so it gives you a lot of information on the packet, and oftentimes it tells you how many days before you can harvest. So when I have a packet that tells me how many days to harvest, I actually log that in my planner. I log the day that it germinated. I log the day that I transplanted, if it's a transplant, and I count the days from the date that it was transplanted to the days that it's supposed to mature, and I put that in the book so that on that day I know, okay, these particular plants should be ready to harvest, so that I'm not out of town when they're ready to harvest, so that I don't have other things get in the way. I have reserved some time during that day, if at all possible on that day, to go ahead outside and see if they're ready to harvest and get them out and bring them in the house. So that's how I use my planner. I also use the planner to document what went well and what didn't. I have some rhubarb outside, and I noted in my planner that the rhubarb had a particular red spot on the leaves. And I noted in there that I need to do some research to find out what that red spot is and how to get rid of it, so that by next year I will have whatever I need to fight that red spot, and I believe it's a fungus, to keep it from affecting my plants again. So I'm planning ahead because I know I have that issue with the rhubarb, and I'm not going to let that issue continue. I'm going to have it under control by next year. Same thing with tomatoes. I love tomatoes, and some of my favorite tomatoes grew back, but I have a new favorite tomato. Oftentimes when you order seeds from a company, if you order a certain number of things from them, oftentimes they'll send you free seeds. Well, I got free seeds from Callie Kim Garden & Home. She sent me this free seed. It's the Golden Jubilee tomato. It's an AAS winner heirloom tomato. I grew this tomato this year for the first time, and when I harvested this tomato, I want to tell you that was the best tasting tomato I had ever tasted. I've never seen this in the store, and when I grew it, it's a yellow tomato on the outside, and when you cut into it, it cuts like a peach, and the outside is almost peach-like in firmness, and when you slice it and you taste the slice, it tastes like a cross between a peach and a tomato, and it's sweet, and it was just so wonderful. I said, oh my goodness, thank you, Callie Kim, because I never would have found this if she had not sent this to me. So when you get free seeds from different companies, try to grow those seeds, because you never know what wonderful treat you can find when you grow something different. So just wanted to share that with you. I definitely will be planting a lot more of these, and for next year, and I'm looking forward to tasting those again. But I do make plans in my garden planner, and for next year I have some things already logged. Like for instance, I've already planted my garlic for next year, and when I planted the garlic, I know how long it takes the garlic to be ready to harvest. So I logged in this planner the date that I planted the garlic, and in my new planner, I logged the date that it's supposed to be ready. And it doesn't have to be exact, but I know that this year I harvested garlic the 4th of July. So I'll probably be harvesting the new garlic around July 1st to July 4th next year. So I've got that in my planner so that I know when to expect that harvest. So it's really good to log things and keep up with how they're growing. I even put things in here like when I actually go outside and I spray with neem oil, because I have my vegetables on a schedule where I spray them to keep bugs from getting to them. And a lot of times prevention is much better than when you wait until you actually have an outbreak. So I put in here when I sprayed neem, and that way the following week when I look at my schedule, I know when to do the neem spray again. So it takes a little bit of organization when you're planting your garden, but this is the time to do it because you don't have so many vegetables outside right now to tend to, so you can plan now for next year since you have the time. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you. For those of you who are doing something different, put them in the comments below if you're doing something different that works for you, and share it with the community to help us all out. But it's November. It's time to start planning for next year. So let's get busy. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.